Welcome, warriors. Happy birthday! Grab a tissue and listen in as I share about a few birthdays on my calendar this year. Let's rock. Are you walking through a storm that feels like it will never end? Do you wonder if life's storms have stolen the beauty from your life for good? You're in the right place. My name is Heather, and like you, I've been through a storm or two and wondered if life would ever be beautiful again. Here we share warriors' words, stories of discovering beauty after battles, and the worth in your wounds. Pick up your sword or boxing gloves and join the battle. Your words are powerful, my friends. Make them warrior words. Welcome back to the Warrior Words podcast. Before we dive into this week's episode, here is a review from Love Just Keep Blogging. Skip the surface solutions. I love how Heather gets to the root of the struggle, asking her guests questions that reveal how they thrived through trauma. Thank you so much. I agree. It's the thriving that's important. We need to hear the struggle stories to get to the thriving, but it's what we do afterwards that shines the light on the beauty. So thank you. Would you like me to read your review on an upcoming episode? Please go to Apple Podcasts and leave a review for the show. Your comments and your star ratings help people find the Warrior Words podcast, and it only takes a few minutes of your time. And please come join us in the Warrior Words Facebook community. Come in and join us for inspirational stories, lessons learned, and beauty bombs. Just go to facebook.com/groups/warrior words and request to join. A few questions will pop up. Please answer those. And I look forward to getting to know you in there. Now, on to the show. So today we're talking about birthdays. And the first birthday I want to share is, the one that we're all familiar with. That day we are born. Sometimes we like remembering it and other times we don't. But whether we like the attention on our special day or lament the lack of attention, there's one thing always worth celebrating: the fact that you're alive. Each year, each day is a gift from God. If you are breathing, you have been given this gift for today. So, on each annual remembrance of your birth, take the opportunity to celebrate that you are still alive. You are still able to make progress to yours or God's goals. For me, that day is January 15th. Now, in order, here are a few other birthdays that I will be celebrating this year. And I use the word birthday sometimes because it's a celebration of life, and other times because it's an anniversary of sorts. And ironically, the next two are literally in succession. So cue the balloons for 3 days of celebration in a row. Okay, so I told you about the 15th. On January 16th, 2023, so this is my baby one, I launched this podcast. If you do scroll all the way to the bottom, you will see 2 or 3 that show January 13th, but that's because you have to have some content uploaded in advance in order to launch. And one of the more popular platforms can sometimes take a few days to get everything in order. So the official launch date of the Warrior Words podcast was January 16th, 2023. So in just a couple days of the recording of this episode, that will be 1 year old. And I'll be honest to say, I was not in the market to start a podcast and wondered what on earth I would talk about. But the Holy Spirit has a way of convincing you and directing you. I allowed myself, after a bit of kicking and screaming, to be led. And here we are, just a few days shy of that anniversary. It's actually not the podcast I thought it would be, nor is it the podcast I started a year ago. It has grown and developed into what it is today, and I suspect it will continue to grow and evolve. In fact, I know it will. Stick around to the end, and I'll share an announcement. I am so grateful that I listened and was leadable. I am no longer scared of this microphone in front of me, and I'm enjoying meeting and getting to know all the wonderful people who have shared their hard stories with me and with you. And I look forward to seeing where this next year will take us. On this, let's see, the third day in this trifecta of celebration is the day that ultimately saved my life. On January 17th, 2020, 2 days after my birthday, I was on an operating table. I was having a mastectomy to rid my body of cancer. My surgeon removed 4 tumors, the largest of which put me in the stage 2B category. I was half a centimeter away from stage 3 breast cancer. My life would be different from that moment on, but I was given new life through the removal of something that was trying to end my life. And you may wonder why I would choose to celebrate the day that a surgeon removed one of my body parts. It certainly was not one of my favorite days of all time. In fact, at that moment, all I could do was mourn my loss and wonder why it didn't turn out like the doctors said it would. I went under anesthesia expecting one result and woke up to the news that the battle was not over, and I would have more to fight in the upcoming months. That saddened me, but with time and perspective, I now celebrate the birthdays those additional battles created. And with that, the next one is May 12th. That was my last day of chemo. It was the last day those chemicals entered my body in an attempt to kill any remaining cancer cells. It was a beautiful celebration, complete with a car parade through my neighborhood with brightly colored posters filled with love and encouragement. That encouragement ended up taped to my walls because I wasn't done yet. The next birthday was established on July 22nd. That was my last day of radiation. The last day of having my skin fried in another attempt to rid my body of any cancer cells that survived the chemo or who had grown in defiance. The treatments ended on that day, and no more chemicals or harmful rays entered my body. It was a day of freedom, a day of life. My body was cut up, chemically altered, and parts of it burned. But I was breathing. I was and am alive. And then there was one more. In mid to late December, I went in for a PET scan to search for tumors. And I won't lie, I was scared. After everything I had been through throughout that year, starting with my diagnosis on January 2nd and ending with my last radiation on July 22nd, I still had a bit of fear of what this test would show. So I went through the test, and the tech told me that I would get a phone call with the results on December 23rd, right before Christmas. it was either going to be the worst Christmas or the best Christmas. And true to the text word, I received a call on December 23rd, 2020. That's when I heard the beautiful words, "No evidence of disease." Pretty sure I cried. I know I cried on December 24th when I attended Mass in person outside in California and received the Eucharist for the first time in what felt like forever. I will never forget that moment. My 2020 literally started and ended with cancer. At one point, I asked my oncologist which day I should celebrate as being free from cancer. And she said, all of them. Each of those dates were significant to my journey. Each day is a celebration of life and the gift I've been given. I have another chance to live as God intended for me to live. And you do too. What are the days in your life you need to celebrate? What events are significant on your journey? That reminds me, I have another one. The day I was blessed with an enormous amount of courage and the love and support of my family to leave a dangerous situation. And that day is April 2nd. For me, I have January 15th, 16th, and 17th, April 2nd, May 12th, July 22nd, and December 23rd. What are yours? I would love for you to come over into the Facebook group and share a birthday with us that's significant to you. Remember, you can join us at facebook.com/groups/warrior words. I encourage you to celebrate all of your wins, even the tiny ones. Maybe especially the tiny ones. And I said if you stayed until the end, I'd have an announcement for you. On one of those birthdays, January 17th, I am launching a new series of short episodes on the topic of beauty. I'm calling it Bits of Biblical Beauty, or BOB for short. These episodes will be released on Fridays for 2025. So look for my interviews and stories on Tuesdays and the new Bob episodes on Fridays. So until we meet again, armor up, fight the good fight, seek beauty, and make your words warrior words. God bless.